Welcome everyone to our second video for the Oswego City School District Technology Support. As a quick reminder, the technology support has multiple avenues for the community to use in case there is a question that you need immediate help with. First, we have the technology support hotline, which can be reached at 315-341-2051. Secondly, we have our device help survey.
At this time, we are going to review accessing Google Classroom through the Chrome browser. I know that your students have been working on this all week with their teachers. However, Mr. Little and I just want to recap the week's information and make sure that you're all set as we move into week 1 of learning starting September 21st. Keep in mind that those of you that are using a Chromebook, the next few screens that we look at will not pertain to your access to Google Classroom. Also, those of you that have an iPad, we will be covering iPad specific screens for Google Classroom after this section is completed. You will open the Chrome browser and you'll see in the top right corner in the red circle it says sign in. You're going to go ahead and click on sign in. Again, if you're accessing through a Chromebook, you will not see the sign in portion on the Chrome browser because once you log into your Chromebook, you are already signed in. After clicking sign in, you'll be brought here to the sign in screen. At this point, you'll be entering the email address that was provided by your teacher. If you have not received your email address at this point, please reach out to your school or your teacher on Monday to obtain that information. You'll notice here that we want you to remember to please make sure that you put @oswego.org at the end of your email address. If you forget to add that part, Google will assume that you're using a standard Gmail account and it will put @gmail.com at the end of your username. If that happens, the password that you've received from your teacher will not work. If you have any issues with your password or username, please reach out to your school or your teacher for that information. At this point, after putting in your username, you will notice that this screen will identify you by name as well as show your current email address for the school district. At this point, you'll go ahead and enter the password that was provided by your teacher. Please make sure that you enter it exactly as it was given to you so that you can click next and sign in without any issues. Now that we've signed in to Chrome, this screen and the next few that we're going to look at will appear exactly the same whether you're on a laptop, a desktop, or a Chromebook. To access Classroom, the first thing you're going to do is go to the 9 squares in the top right corner. I've circled those so you can see where they're going to appear on your screen, and you're going to click on those 9 squares. The list of apps that you have access to in the Google Suite will then appear. I've circled the Classroom app for you because the location of my Classroom app in my menu may not be exactly the same location in yours, but if you find the app that I've circled here and click on that, you'll have access to Google Classroom. Okay, now that we've clicked on Google Classroom and have gone to the dashboard, you'll see that you may have one tile, as we do have here, or you may have more than one. It depends on how many classes you've been invited to join. This process will only be required the first time you access any of your tiles or your Google Classroom. In the bottom right corner, you can see I've circled the word join for you. The first time you come in, you're going to go ahead and click on join, and that will accept the invitation from your teacher to this particular Google Classroom. When you first enter Google Classroom, you will end up on what we call the stream. That's indicated by the green line under the word stream at the top of your screen. As a reminder, the stream is just a location for important announcements that are being made by your teacher. So in order to access your classwork, what you're going to do is you're going to look at the top of your screen. I've circled Classwork so you can see where it is between stream and people. And you're going to go ahead and click on Classwork. Once you click on the coursework section, you'll see a list of the assignments that are provided to you by your teacher. You'll notice that at this point we're only looking at one assignment. You may see several assignments on that page, but the process that we're going to go over right now will apply to each one of your assignments. The first thing that you're going to do is click where Unit 1, Lesson 1 is, in this case, in the red rectangle at the top. What that will do is it will expand the assignment. It will show you any attachments that are available for the assignment, as well as the words View Assignment. Please do not click on any attachments at this point. What you're actually going to need to do is click on View Assignment to move forward. After you click View Assignment, you'll be taken to another screen. We're only looking at part of the screen. The portion that we're not looking at right now contains the directions for the assignment, so please make sure that you read those directions carefully so that you can complete the assignment accurately and correctly based on your teacher's directions. What you're looking at here is the right-hand side of the page after you click View Assignment. You'll notice in the first box on the left-hand side, it says Your Work, and it says Assigned. That indicates that you've not completed this assignment yet. Below that, you may see any attachments that your teacher has provided you. In this case, you will see that there's a Google Slides attachment. In order to access your work, you would go ahead and click where it says Google Slides. Please be aware that a new tab will open in the browser. You'll be able to interact with Google Slides and work on Google Slides. Google is a self-saving program, so there's nothing for you to save. It automatically will do that. When you finish the assignment, please remember to close the newly opened tab so that will bring you back to the View Assignment window. Once you've worked on your assignment, you have two options below that. The first one is the Add or Create button. At that point, if you click Add or Create, you can make an additional document or Google Slide presentation to turn in if your teacher has requested you to do that. The next thing that you'll notice, which is in the red square below that, is a box with the words Turn In on it. In order for you to turn your assignment in to your teacher, you need to make sure that you click this button. It's kind of like sitting in a classroom and giving the paper back to the teacher. Once you click Turn In, your screen will change to what it looks like on the right-hand side. You'll notice now where it said Assigned before, it says Turned In, and the Turn In button now says Unsubmit. Once you see the Unsubmit button, that is your indication that that assignment has been turned into your teacher for grading, at which point grading and feedback will be provided and your teachers will return your assignment to you. If for some reason you feel that you need to change your assignment before it's graded, this is your opportunity to hit Unsubmit. You can go back in and work on your assignment, but please make sure that when you're done working on it, you go back and you click Turn In. In some cases it might say Mark is done, but it's important again that you click that button. You need to see Unsubmit on this page. Here's the final step in accessing your work from Google Classroom. You'll notice here we're showing you the full screen, so you can see on the right hand side that my work has been turned in. You'll notice on the left hand side of the screen we've put a red box around the name of this particular class. The reason that that's there is because once you go to where the name of the class is and you click on that, that will actually take you back to the stream for your Google Classroom. At that point, you can click on Classwork again, and then you can go back into the Classwork section and complete any additional homework that your teacher may have assigned you. Please notice also on the screen in the bottom right-hand corner, it says Private Comments. If you have any questions related to your homework and your homework only, if you type those in the private comment box and click the arrow that's there on the right hand side of the screen, that will send an notification to your teacher that you have a question around your homework assignment. If you have a general question about the homework assignment that you feel the rest of your classmates can benefit from, you'll notice in the middle of the screen it says class comments. Please type your class comments there and hit the arrow to submit them. Please remember that your fellow students will see any class comments that you make, so please keep those comments school appropriate and related to the homework assignment that you're working on. If they are not related to the assignment that you're working on, your teacher will go ahead and delete those comments from this page. All right, now that we've looked at accessing Google Classroom and your assignments on a laptop or a Chromebook, we're going to look at accessing your Google Classroom and your assignments on an iPad. For those of you that are working on a Chrome tablet or an Android tablet, you may also follow these steps as they are very similar. The first thing you're going to need to do is locate the icon that you're seeing on your screen here. This is the iPad icon for Google Classroom. Once you locate that icon, you're going to go ahead and touch the icon to launch Google Classroom. Now that we have located and launched the Google Classroom app from the iPad, this screen will appear. This screen is where we're going to go ahead and agree to get started on Google Classroom and actually open up Google Classroom. Prior to clicking Get Started, please make sure that you have your password and your email address handy. The next two screens that you'll see will be your login screens. Here, your login screen will be similar to what you would see on a Chromebook or a laptop. So you're going to go ahead and enter your email address that was provided to you by your teacher. Again, please make sure that after you put in your username that you're actually adding @oswego.org at the end. As a reminder, the same thing happens here as it does for those of you using a laptop or a Chromebook. If you do not add @oswego.org, then Google will assume that you're using a regular Gmail account and it will automatically put in @gmail.com after your username. And when you enter your password on the next screen, it will indicate that your password is not working. We're now looking at the password screen on your iPad. Once you touch where it says enter your password, your keyboard will pop up. At that time, please enter your password exactly as it was given to you by your teacher. Again, as a reminder, if you do have questions about your password or your account, please contact your school or your teacher directly. Now that we've signed in and are actually in the Classroom app, the major difference between a Chromebook or a laptop and an iPad or an Android or Google tablet is that instead of having squares for your classrooms, you actually will have these rectangular banners. The same process is used for accessing your classes here as they are on one of those devices. You'll notice here on this screen, you'll see the word join. The first time that you log into Google Classroom, you'll be asked to touch join on any new class that you've been invited to. By doing that, you'll have access to all of your assignments from your teachers. The screen that you're looking at now is after you have joined your Google Classroom. You'll notice you'll see rectangular banners for your classrooms as opposed to square tiles on a Chromebook. What you're going to do is locate the name of your class, for example, period 5, AVID 1, and you're going to go ahead and touch the name of the class. That will actually take you into the Google Classroom where you're going to find your assignments. At this point, we're looking at our stream on the iPad. What you'll notice is down at the bottom of your screen, and you'll see that I've circled it here in red for you, is where you're going to go ahead and find any classwork or assignments that your teachers have provided you. What you're going to go ahead and do is touch on Classwork, and that will take you off of the stream here and give you access to those assignments and attachments. Once you've accessed the Classwork section on your iPad, you'll notice two very important pieces of information on this page. I've gone ahead and labeled them with the number 1 and number 2 for you. If you look at the top of the screen and find where the number 1 is located, you'll see a camera directly to the right of number 1. Should your teacher be asking you to join a Google Meet, you'll actually click on the camera and Google Meet will open for you automatically on your iPad. This is different than on a Chromebook. On a Chromebook, you would be able to access Google Meet from the banner if your teacher has put your Google Meet link in your banner. It does not show up on the iPad in the banner. You actually access your Google Meet here. The second piece of information that you'll see here, which is to the right of the number 2, will be the names of the assignments that you've been given. What you are going to do at this point is locate the assignment that you have to work on and touch that. You'll also notice that I have some gray circles as well as some dark blue circles here. Anytime you're in Google Classroom, anything that is what we call grayed out, such as ELA Monday, internal and external, and math Monday lesson, the gray circles indicated that I'm already done with those assignments and I've turned them in. So you're going to actually look for the dark circles, such as specials Monday music or sign up flipped classroom. Once you locate the assignments that are due, you're going to go ahead and just touch those. Now that you've selected the assignment that you want to complete, this page will appear on your iPad. So there's two very important pieces of information on this page here. The first one, indicated by the number 1 in the red box, are any attachments that you'll have. You'll notice to the right of the number 1, there's a yellow and white box. That indicates that this attachment is a Google Slide presentation. So if you wanted to access this and work on this, because the directions in this case says read the slide and watch the videos, all you would do is touch that file attachment and that would open up in another window. We're going to look at how you use that other window in just a second. Before we do that, you'll notice that there's also a number 2 at the bottom of the screen next to an arrow pointing up. If you touch on the arrow pointing up, that will take you to another screen. That screen's important, and we're going to look at that in just a second. But that screen is where you're going to mark your assignment complete or turned in. It's also going to give you the opportunity to use the camera on the iPad to take any pictures to support your work or show your teachers what you've done and attach it. It's also going to allow you to add any additional files you may have. So again, what we're going to do right now is we're going to touch or select the Google Slide attachment for this assignment. What we're looking at here is the preview page. So remember, prior to this, we were looking at the assignment and there was an attachment in there that was a Google Slide. So we touched on the Google Slide. It brings us to this page. You'll notice that I can see the attachment that's here, but this is what we call a view only page. So I can view all of the slides that are in my presentation, but I can't interact with that presentation at this point. I can scroll down and kind of preview what I'm going to be asked to do. What I've done for you is put a red square at the top of my screen over two very important tools that you need to be aware of. The first one looks like a pencil. If you touch that pencil, this slide presentation will open into another screen. At that point, you will be able to use your finger to draw or write over top of this slide presentation. And in the top right corner, you'll be able to click Save. Once you touch Save, Google Classroom will actually take what you've saved and attach it directly on the homework assignment for you, so that when we look at turning it in a minute, this would be saved for you. The other icon at the top is a square with an arrow pointing out of the top right corner. It's directly to the right of the pencil. If you want to access the videos and work with this slide presentation in the actual Google Slide app, you would go ahead and touch that icon. At that point, the Google Slide app will open for you. You'll be able to touch on any of the text boxes that your teacher has inserted for you to enter information in. And at that point, when you touch on those particular text boxes, the keyboard will pop up on the iPad for you. Once you're done in that app, you'll see there's going to be an arrow at the top where you'll actually be able to come back to this screen. And once you're done working from here on this preview, you'll notice to the left of the pencil, there's an arrow. You're going to go ahead and click on that arrow to return to the previous screen. All right, now we've come back to the screen where you can see the attachments from the assignment again. At this point, we're going to go ahead and we're going to touch on that arrow that's to the right of the number 2, and we're going to take a look at those additional features on the next screen. All right, once we've touched on the arrow, your screen will look like it does here on the left-hand side of my screen. You'll see your work and whether it's assigned or missing. You'll also see add attachment or mark as done. If you're finished with the Google Slide attachment or Google Doc attachment or video, whatever your teacher has asked you to do, and you're finished for the day, please make sure that you click or touch mark as done or turn in. Just like while working on the Chromebook or a laptop, that's your way to indicate to the teacher that you've finished the assignment and it's ready to be graded. On the right-hand side of the screen, you'll see a different set of icons such as drive, link, file, take a photo, record a video, and create. That menu is obtained by touching where it says add attachment, and you see that on the left-hand side of your screen. At this point, if you wanted to take a photo of your work for, say, an art class or a map that you drew for social studies, when you touch take a photo, that will actually activate the camera on the iPad, and you can use the camera to take a photo or take a video. And when you close out of the camera app, that will actually bring you back to this screen and automatically attach any photo or video that you've taken directly to your homework assignment. Again, what's most important when you're done on this screen is to go ahead and click mark as done. Once you've clicked mark as done, that will say unsubmit. That's your indication that you've turned the assignment into the teacher and it's waiting to be graded. At that point, you're going to go ahead and touch the down arrow above your work to return to the previous screen so that you can go back to all of your other assignments. At this point, I just wanted to show you what Unsubmit would look like prior to returning to your assignment section. So you can see here it's Unsubmit. Below Unsubmit, you'll see it says Add Private Comment. That's your opportunity to submit any questions that you have about your specific assignment to your teacher. They will get a notification that you have a question about your particular assignment and they can respond to you. Again, those are private comments, so your classmates will not see those at all. On the right-hand side of the screen, once you've touched the down arrow above your work, you'll return to that view on your iPad. Notice above those attachments, it says add a class comment. If you have a general question about the assignment that maybe the rest of your classmates could benefit from, or it's not specific to your assignment, you can post your questions there. Please remember to keep these comments related to the assignment and school appropriate. Your teacher will be able to delete any comments that are not related to the assignment. Once you get here, you would go ahead and touch the arrow that's above the date on this screen here on the right hand side, and that will take you back to your entire list of assignments. If you're done at that point, you can touch the home button on the bottom of your iPad and exit Google Classroom. As a reminder, once you log into Google Classroom on the iPad, you are logged into your Google Meets app. So when you click the camera on the first screen, you'll be able to launch Google Meets and you won't have to sign in. Also, when you access the Google Slides app, you'll already be logged into that.